Watch what's approaching, the supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
What's good? Hopefully you guys are having a pretty good day so far. Now, this video right here, it's not necessarily rocket science by any means, but I figured it would be a beneficial enough tip to kind of mention in case you guys weren't aware of this. So I'm just kind of running through this so you guys can visually see what's happening here. But whenever you run into a situation where you have a bunch of stamina left and you're about to level up, instead of, ranking up immediately, this is definitely a good way to conserve stamina and kind of maximize your link level grind, essentially. So, again, this is more or less like you're going through all the battles. This is obviously quest 23.8 or 23/8. It's literally the best one to kind of farm or grind link levels. And you fight a bunch of different Cybermen type enemies and various battles, so you do increase your odds of leveling up the link skill. So again, for those that are unaware, that's really the best stage to go about it. Second being, again, if you have a bunch of stamina left and you want to make sure you use it all up before ranking up, the tip to go with this is essentially just retire the quest or whatever quest you're currently on, and then just restart it and whatnot, and just go through it to the point where you have enough just enough stamina left to rank up. So you can kind of tell based on EXP points and the 4 times multiplier or whatever on how much exactly you need in order to rank up based on the amount of the EXP left over in order to rank up to the next rank, essentially. So those are really the tips. Again, it's not rocket science, but I think people tend to forget that it's a way to go about it in terms of like maximizing your stamina usage and making sure you get all the essentials, quote unquote, in terms of like link, leveling up links and whatnot. So I did bring in a bunch of level 1 units in terms of link skill, just so you can kind of visually see after retiring the quest, going back in and seeing the difference. That way you actually see the link levels maintained and whatnot. So that's pretty much the way to go about it in case you're in this type of situation, right? In terms of like the overall link skill leveling format, the only gripe I have is it just comes down to how random the stuff is. I really wish there was a little bit more I don't know, like logic behind the leveling up, instead of just whatever random enemies are predetermined in terms of like which link skill specifically you'll level up. In cases like level 9 links, I mean, it literally takes forever to get from level 9 to level 10. I mean, a lot of times, a lot of the other units with lower level links will tend to catch up a little bit by the time you get from 9 to 10. So it really doesn't make sense as to like how they do it. I wish it was really EXP based, or even like active links in the rotation during the battle increases your odds of leveling up said link. They're definitely different ways to go about it. So I'm not sure as to why they made it so random and predetermined. But again, the overall system itself is great. I mean, you see a substantial difference, first of all, between level 1 and level 10. I think the big thing, right, in some regard, it's a little bit underappreciated, but they did change the actual stat boost or whatever in terms of like certain links. I mean, like for example, legendary power obviously went from flat 2500 or 5000 upon activating super attack. Now that's changed to a 15%. And when we're dealing with the units that have very high attack stats with the LRs given in the game, that 15% is substantially more beneficial than 2500 or 5000 flat rate of attack increase. So a lot of good things have come out of that. And of course, whenever it's a first pass of a new system or new mechanic going live, you do tend to kind of run into a little bit of a hindsight issue where you kind of tend to think things could have been done a little bit better. But in terms of like I guess the best example is like when working on projects at work, whenever you launch a project, whenever it goes live, you always tend to run into problems. That's essentially what hypercare is, right? You kind of go through the maintenance of it and refine the process a little bit, as more time goes on. And that's essentially what we'll probably end up seeing with the link skill level implemented system in the game. Is over the course of time, we'll probably continue to see refinement in terms of the stuff here and there. So that's pretty much the way I look at it. Nothing's perfect from the get-go, you know what I mean? It takes time to slowly make it better, and there's no such thing as a perfect system. You can only just get close to it, so at the end of the day, I think it's a great system. It makes grinding a little bit more enjoyable in terms of having an objective, so to speak. It really does make a difference when you have two units side by side, one with level 1 and one with level 10 links. It makes a pretty drastic difference. So it's definitely worth the grind. It definitely takes a lot of time to do it, but in my opinion, it's certainly worth it. I think, I have a tendency of just going through 1 through 10, just want to max out all the level 10 links and then move on to the next one, but that's not really something you absolutely need to do either. If you really wanted to be real about it, you could go up to level 5. I think at that point you start seeing, diminishing returns. So if you have units at level 5 links, they're providing enough of an impact from the benefit of increased, skill set boost that it might be worthwhile to just go about it in that fashion and just have more of a balanced deck overall instead of, fewer units with, higher level links. That's one way to look at it too. So again, we just restarted the mission. We're going back into 23.8, and I'll show you here in a second. Once we get into the battle, the link skill levels have been maintained from whatever they gained from the past run in the quest. So again, this is ultimately it's kind of like a quick trick. It's Friday. I'm struggling to talk a little bit, but it's in these special circumstances that you could definitely maximize the grind process for the links. We're taking a look right now, and you can see the ones that leveled up from 1 to 2, they're maintained. Supreme Kai Time, she's got 1 link at level 2, so you will maintain all the links, similar to the EXP, I guess, gained from the units. During the quest, you'll maintain those. The only thing you won't get is, obviously you have to consume the stamina, but also you won't necessarily get the EXP to get closer to a rank up or whatever. So, in these situations, I think it's beneficial to at least, deplete the majority of your stamina and make sure you can, especially if you're focused on the link skill level grind, it's much more worthwhile to just go through as much stamina as possible and then, leave just enough to where exactly you'll rank up with that last remaining run. You know what I mean? So once you get to that point, obviously you want to complete the quest and then rank up, and then you'll get a full stamina bar refreshed, and then you can continue to grind. Now, at a higher rank, obviously it's not going to work every time. You're going to have to use Dragon Stones at some point, but it's essentially a waste if you have, say, close to 200 stamina left and you're very close to ranking up, and you end up ranking up and pretty much missing out on close to 200 in stamina, whatever the case is. So in those cases, this is really just a recommendation for how to go about it. Now again, it's not rocket science, like I said, but it might be a useful trick to kind of remind people of. So hopefully you guys found it somewhat helpful. If you did, definitely make sure to like the video, and if you're new and found it helpful, definitely subscribe. We got plenty of good content here, so stick around, hopefully. All right, well, that's all for today. I guess I will catch you guys later. Peace out.